Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're live. Welcome.
We are here and alive.
We are live. Welcome to the Sean and Sax show. Welcome. Greetings and salutations.
Welcome.
What?
So welcome.
Welcome. So this do you want to kick this one off, babe? Like,
this
isn't heavy, but it's heavy. It's
no, it's not heavy.
Yeah. Well,
about 5 minutes ago, I got off the phone with one of my dear friends who informed me that she has cancer, and this person...
She's our age.
Yeah. And it's... I'm not necessarily devastated, because I'm not. Like, I know why things like this happen in our lives, and they're to serve us, truly, and I'll explain this if that's kind of wild statement. But it got me thinking and inspired, and this is a woman who, like, I'm not worried in the slightest, right? She's a humongous teacher on many, many levels, and it is only going to amplify her evolution on this planet. And so we were going to talk about something different, and that's what's on my mind right now, because I just got off that phone call. And so, as Tim McGraw says, live like you're dying, right? Because we all are.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't all have a written diagnosis from our doctors that we need to look at things in our life, but we are all mortal, evolving beings here.
We had something that we wanted to talk about today, and literally right before we went on, you got a call, and you know, this is Sax and I stopped and talked for a few minutes, because it seems to be the thing that keeps coming into our space is these little reminders, you know, and it's just an interesting thing, because Sax is 40, I'm 45. I mean, she's our age. I think she's a year older than me.
47, I think.
Yeah, 2 years? I thought she was a year. 2 years older than me. You know, and there's this idea, and we have this, and this is something that Sax and I think, really focus on in our life, not just our relationship, but our life, but really understanding that life is so damn short, and it's so fragile, and it's very much not what we think it is, or how we've been trained, or how we've been programmed. Mm-hmm. And as we were contemplating having a conversation about our friend, you know, it was one of those things where it's like using this opportunity in this podcast to kind of open up the conversation, but also remind everybody, like, you know,
and ourselves.
Again, it's just, I feel like God just keeps kind of coming down going, hey, knock, knock. Just so you know, you literally are dying. I just want to remind you, and this person's going to pass early, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. And over the last couple of years, we've had, I mean, from dear friends pass to people get cancer to these things that just, like, the more I live, the more I realize how fragile and delicate this game really is. Mm-hmm. You know, and it, literally minutes ago, getting a call of this reality, and I wanted to talk about it because I really feel like we have been programmed, we people, you and I, and pretty much everybody listening to this, that there's this life plan, there's this life structure, and it's going to look like this. And here's what this phase is going to look like, and then this phase is going to look like, and here's your, you know, adolescent phase, and then your young adult phase, and then your midlife phase, and then your, you know, early golden years phase, and then your old phase, and this is what it's supposed to look like and what it's supposed to be like. And I feel like the older I get, the more I realize that that entire game plan is just total bullshit. Mm-hmm. That entire storyline, that entire narrative is just, it's not, I don't want to say right, but perhaps that's the invitation for us to rewrite the story. And this is something that we're super passionate about, like, just not just with Sax and I, but me individually, Sax individually. And this is something that I'm grateful for at our age, whether we're old or young or midlife or whatever, we're really starting to get this. Mm-hmm. And I share this simply because a lot of people look at our life or talk about our life, or whether it's judgmental or supportive or whatever else, and there's just this, like, really interesting stigma around two people that are playing the game all in. around somebody who's just like me, who's not afraid to share his mind, who's not afraid to share his thought process, not afraid to share where he stands and what he believes and his adoration for his wife or his family or this or this or this. And it's just an interesting experience living, you know, in this world, on this planet, in this world, in this society where there's so many people that somehow think we have so long to achieve our goals and so long to live. And when I get to this place, then I'll be happy. When I get to this place, then we'll be content. When we get to this spot, then we can enjoy, then we can slow down, then we can whatever. And dude, I don't know very many people that like, you know, are living that way anymore.
Right.
I mean, life is really brutal. It's right here in front of us. Like we're living it as we speak. And, you know, you mentioned the Tim McGraw song, like living like you're dying. I mean, I want to impress upon everybody listening to this that you should absolutely consider your death. You should absolutely think about it. You should absolutely vision. I vision my death all the time. I vision it. I vision being on my deathbed. I vision like me checking out. I vision like this is it. Like there's no more chapters, there's no more days, there's no more date nights, there's no more anything. And I encourage people to think about that as a very positive thing, not a negative thing. I don't do that because it's negative. I don't do that because I don't walk myself into the darkness. I don't do that because I'm like, boo-hoo-hoo, life sucks. I do that because it forces me and pushes me to live more, to play all in, to be all in, to truly have like an epic biblical level relationship, to truly rewrite the narrative of how to live your dreams. You know, I did this post earlier today about people that are judgmental around people that drive Lamborghinis, and it's just kind of like a side note because there seems to be this cool flex now on social media that like everybody just mock, or not everybody, but a lot of people mock people that drive Lamborghinis as if everybody that drives one's fake and they're all rented and they're all whatever. And it's like, if you knew that today was your last day, like what car would you want to drive? Like, what would you want to say? What would you want to do? Where would you want to be? What vacations have you had on your bucket list for 10 fucking years that you've never taken because somehow, some way you think that you have another 10 years to do it, or it's not the right time, or it's not the right this, or it's not the right that. And that song, literally, I mean, the lyrics are so damn simple, but so fucking real. Like, live like you're dying. Like, literally live like you're dying, because the truth is we are literally dying, right? All of us. And these little reminders are just, I don't know, they're that for me. They're just these reminders, and they're these precious friends and souls that, you know, I feel like God is continually reminding me. I take everything personally. Like I encapsulate it. Like, this is God telling me, hey, again, knock, knock, buddy boy, clock's ticking. The clock's fucking ticking. Let's go. Yeah. And one of the things that I believe in wholeheartedly is, you know, for instance, when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and I'm very woo-woo on some levels, and I'm very practical and not woo-woo on many levels. But one of the things that I don't even like to say woo-woo, but one of the things that I would connect spirituality to the physical existence of my life, right? When I connect those two, and the irony of having something attack my throat area, my thyroid, right? At that time, and for the majority of my life, and a lot of dear friends that I know were very similar. I shouldn't say, we're learning to not speak in absolutes. That's why we correct ourselves, the always and never and everyone. And just so better at that. You always say this. You always say that. Yeah, when you speak in absolutes, people stop listening. So, because it's not real. But it's my thyroid, and I thought about that. It's like, I struggle with speaking my truth. And there's levels to speaking truth, right? I can say, I say how I feel all day long. Bullshit. Bullshit, Saxony. At that time especially, I was not at all speaking my truth. And so, you know, you look at these, to me, they're blessings if you choose to see them as blessings, right? And I to this day am grateful that I had what happened to me, so that I could look and take better care of myself, and not just physically, but saying, hey, I'm gonna speak my mind, and it doesn't always make my life more fun, but
I'm doing and living the way I'm authentically supposed to on this planet as part of my life path, and that's just it, right? And so, you know, I have one of the people that I look up to tremendously with this type of stuff is my grandmother, my dad's mom. She had an aneurysm the year I was born, and she was paralyzed half of her body, and she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, she couldn't do anything, and it literally bankrupted my grandparents. And she, to this day, goes and reminds the doctor that told her that she would never walk again that she can fucking walk.
And she's at the gym. She's at the gym all the time.
Savage. She went to the gym every day, they say, and she just got on the bike, and they basically strapped her onto this bike, and she used her one leg that worked, and her other leg, she would say, remember, or however it was that she phrased it. And she rebuilt her she basically rewired her brain to make her body work again.
Right.
Like, talk about, she just witnessed her own superpowers, but it's because she was relentless in learning that.
Yeah.
And those are those wild things that happen. And so fast forward to her later years when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And
which, by the way, she's walking now.
Oh,
and
like
just
she's
moves along and does her thing.
She's a self-made millionaire.
And,
she's like one of the top. I mean, she's a freaking
She's
boss.
a savage. I see her at the gym all the time, and I always like give her a hug, and I'm like, you inspire me so damn much.
This is one of the things I'm not listening to is something inside of me keeps saying, you need to interview your grandmother. You need to write a book about her. Because if you guys really knew the story, it's incredible what this woman has endured. And she doesn't tell you. She doesn't matter to her because it's just part of life. So recently, in the last few years, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and you would have thought it was like I got the flu. I mean, it came and went like it was nothing. Because when you look at this woman and you know this woman, you know it's like, good luck, cancer.
Yeah.
Good luck trying to take her down, and it doesn't. It's like she just does. She handles business, and she just keeps. It's like this. She is someone I look up to, and her resilience.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. I've never seen her lived in a victim mentality, and I've only seen her have the biggest cojones ever of any person. And she just, I don't like the word perseveres, but she perseveres.
Right.
And like
she's living.
Life goes on. Yeah. She's like,
living.
yeah, this is going to slow me down. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. Right. And she just keeps moving on. And I love that mindset. So it's like using everything I believe in life is a gift. Heartbreak is a gift. Yep. If you so choose to use it as medicine,
right,
and to catapult you and a catalyst into a better life or a better way of being or better mindset. And so, I try really, really hard to keep that mindset of this is here to teach me and to show me. And also it's like, where am I not showing up? Like, why is this coming to be, and what do I need to look at?
Right.
Why am I not self-honoring? Why am I not taking care of myself in a way that I did end up sick? Right. And so there's all these different angles of looking at it, but yeah, it's there. To think that life is linear and it's just like, oh, I'm going to grow old because I want to grow old. Well, if I get to grow old, that's going to be incredible.
Right.
What an honor. But if not, why am I waiting around till I'm retired to go to Italy with my husband, or to go do this or that or whatever it is? Or, I think that we are so conditioned to be human doings, and we just do, and we work and we grind, and we don't sleep enough, and we don't eat the right foods, and we don't love enough, and we're not speaking our truth, and we're not being present because we're so like in the system of, in the matrix of, I need to do this now so then I can do good things later or happy things later. And what happens if you don't ever get that later?
Right.
I
think a lot of people, I think oftentimes, again, I got to stop. I would like to stop speaking.
We're all
absolutes,
hardwired for things.
I need to do better at my speech. In a lot of ways, but I think oftentimes we have this idea. I'll speak for myself. I was programmed like this is what normal looks like. I don't live a normal life based off of what I was taught to believe, based off of how I was raised. Mm-hmm. My life is anything but that, right? And the idea of security, the idea that this is what security looks like. Well, imagine for 2 seconds you step back from this conversation as you're listening to us, and a doctor calls you and says you have 6 months to live. Like, what security do you really have? What
I think
security
it should be illegal
really?
for them to do that. Just
well, I know, but follow the thought process with me here, because everybody should visualize. And this is really what I wanted to accomplish with this podcast. Is like, look, let's take this conversation that just happened with our dear friend and use it as again as another tool, as another reminder, as another knock knock. Hey, I'm God. I'm here. I'm talking to you. I'm showing you. We're being blessed by having this friend, having this experience that it's showing us again how to live, like what to do, how fragile and how finite this experience really is, but how real this shit is, you know? And I mean, imagine for a second, every single person listening to this, you listening to this right now, if you knew you had 6 months and that was it. Again, I'm not talking about some quack doctor who's totally wrong and whatever, but like if you legitimately knew, I guarantee you life would be different. I guarantee you life would be different. The things that you're afraid to do, you would do it. All of the things that keep you like hidden and trapped and timid, and I'm not going to jump off the cliff, and I'm not going to do these things, I'm not going to whatever, I'm not going to say these things because I don't want to offend anybody. You'd fucking full send it right off the cliff because you knew there wouldn't be any more time. You know what I'm saying? Where is that guarantee that we have that? And I think what's really interesting is I went through this experience after my divorce, after my bankruptcy, after I went through like my darkest period, is I literally sat with this. A lot of people have probably heard this story, but like where lions not sheep came from. It came to me literally in like the darkest period of my life. I was suicidal. I was depressed. I didn't know who the fuck I was. I had lived 31, 32 years as I was supposed to. I did the deal. I built the business. I had the house. I had the wife. I had the cars and the whole thing. And I was like, quote unquote, successful. Yet I literally burned the entire fucking thing to the ground and found myself in this 2-bedroom little condo driving a little teeny Ford Ranger pickup truck, starting from scratch, wondering who the fuck I even was. Like, why was I even here? Like, why was I here? Yeah. And I didn't go through that period going, all right, God, hey, I really want to figure out how to be a successful businessman or this, that, and the other. I broke everything down to the simplest common denominator of like, God, why am I here? Why am I on this rock? Because every person listening to this is on this rock for a reason.
Amen.
You have a reason. You have a purpose. And a lot of people struggle. I don't know what my purpose is. And we're so fucking busy stressing over the future, worrying about my 401k and my IRA, and is it right? And is it perfect? And am I lined up with everybody else in the matrix? Am I doing it the way I'm supposed to? Do my mom and dad approve? Does my social status approve? Does my church and my pastor and my preacher approve? Do my grandparents approve? And then like we go backwards and we're looking at it going, well, shit, I fucked all this stuff up and I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and I'm not here, and I'm not there, and I'm not good enough, smart enough, bright enough. I haven't done it enough. I screwed up so many times. And we find ourselves living in this world of just absolute like misery and despair. And the truth of the matter is, if you fucking woke up today, you won. Mm-hmm. You won the lottery. Mm-hmm. And I know our friend has that attitude. Oh, yeah. And I can only imagine her just being like, I'm going to leverage this shit. And not only am I going to beat it, but like I'm going to beat it so fucking big and live so even louder than she already does. Yeah. But like I really invite you guys listening to this to really try and hear what we're saying. Mm-hmm. Try and hear this reality, because it doesn't matter who you are. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're rich, if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you had good parents growing up, if your parents were assholes. It doesn't matter if you were an orphan. It doesn't matter if you were abused as a kid. It doesn't matter if you've got depression, if you're depressed, it doesn't matter. Like right here, right now, in this singular moment, you have an option. Mm-hmm. You have a choice. You have the ability to do something. You have the ability to move the needle. You have the ability to move forward. You have the ability to like finally burn everything that's keeping you back to the ground. That's where literally lions not sheep came from. Mm-hmm. Is that phrase, those 3 words came to me in the darkest time. And I took it so literally. Like there wasn't this, well, let me find out what the hidden meaning is. It was simply this, like, are you living your life as a lion? And a lion does whatever the fuck it wants. Now people are like, well, the female lions do this and the male. Fuck off. A lion does whatever the fuck it wants. A sheep does what it's supposed to do and what it was told to do, and does what all the other sheep are doing. If all the sheep go this way, you go that way. If all of them are going over here, they go over there. A lion does whatever the fuck it wants. And I had that ephany, 10, 11, 12 years ago. Like, no, dude, like, God woke you up for something. God's putting you here for something. God wants you to do something. He wants you to like rewrite the story, Sean. Rewrite the narrative. Like what burns in your soul, do that. What words am I putting into your heart and your mind? Speak them. Like what fears are you facing? Jump. Face them right now. Jump literally head first into them and conquer them. And then there'll be another one, and then there'll be another one. And I've just found like this idea, this way that we live just seems to be so foreign to people, yet it's the most comfortable, liberating, freeing thing for me, because I vision my death. I vision being on my deathbed, and I don't vision being there crying, going, oh my God, I didn't do it. I vision literally sitting on my deathbed, laying on my deathbed with my family around, smiling and just telling stories about all the crazy, wild, insane, fun, dope shit that we did.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I believe with my whole heart that God calls on the strong, because some of us, we need another person to show us what that strength looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and our friend is one of those people. So I'm like, oh, well, no wonder. Like, because she's such a powerhouse. She's such a bright light. She's so strong in so many different ways. And I know in my heart of hearts, it's like God called on her to do something brave, right? We were at my dear friend and Dr. Gabrielle Lyons' event, and Jason, what is his last name? Redman?
Yeah.
He spoke, and he has an incredible story. He was Special Forces. He ended up getting shot through the face. Incredible story. If you don't know the story, go look it up. He wrote it. His mindset, even in the darkest and wildest of times, is like, it brought me to tears. I was like, which is not hard, but I was bawling listening to this. But it's something he said that I think every person in that room could relate to. And he said that every human being has 5, and he had a term for it, and I can't remember, basically 5 cataclysmic events in their life. And it could be a heartbreak. It could be you get shot by Al Qaeda. It could be like whatever it is.
Lose all your money.
Lose bankruptcies. It's these 5, and then he ends up, as he furthers the story, he calls them the X. It's like your X, right? And him saying that, I was like, that's such a tangible, simplified way of looking at the why the fuck did this just happen to me? And if we all can loosely say we have 5 of them typically in life, that's what he's like. Typically, people have there's 5, right? Divorce, child dies, whatever. And he's like, a death of a child is like, he's like, in my opinion, that's the worst. That's like the worst thing, right? And then there's like these different degrees of them, but he really talked about what you do with that X moment of life, because we all have them, we all experience them. They're all painful, but can we alchemize them into a magnificent future that probably never could exist without that X, right? Like you being suicidal, bankrupt, all those things happening, you gave birth to something so powerful that you get messages about, countless messages about helping people that you don't even know that have saved their life. I look at all of these stories, like, Jason Redman, they're telling this story, and he's charismatic. He's about to publish a book about him and his wife, and it's like this great story, and it's like, this dude got shot in the face.
Blew his face off.
Your light's on.
I want to read his thing.
Yeah, and
pulling this up later.
I'm just like, man, those are the people that I'm so grateful to have crossed my paths, because they inspire me so much. And I'm like, that horrendous act or experience they had to go through, that now I'm sitting in this room with these other people and I'm bawling and I just want to go live a bigger life. And that's where I was, to circle back, is God calls on the brave. God calls on us probably in our soul contracts before we come, or in just knowing that we're going to, that he's like, I need you right now.
Yeah.
Because this is my woo-woo, like the collective needs us. Like we need to show fucking light. We need to show greatness.
Yep.
We don't staying humble in your corner while the world wants to tear you apart. No.
Yeah. Like
God needs us to rise and become great. And sometimes it's because we need the adversity in order to truly grow great. No, sorry, go ahead.
Andy Frisilla talks about this. In fact, I go back to that post. I posted a picture of, my car, and it's fascinating how so many people will become so irate over a picture of a Lamborghini, and the message wasn't even about the car. It was about the people who aren't doing anything, who don't drive Lamborghinis, who want to talk about the dudes who do and make wild judgment calls around it. And what's really interesting is, like, I had a guy who's like, dude, no one needs to talk about this. You don't need to talk about this. You should be humble, and no one needs to speak these things. And my response is simply this, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing Andy believes, and Ed Milet and a lot of very successful people is, if you're not sharing the good and the wins, then who does? Because all you're doing then is just telling all the people with the megaphone screaming death and badness and darkness and darkness and darkness and darkness, fear. Mm-hmm. Those are the loudest speakers.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I'm going to share my wins. I'm going to share my shit. I'm going to share the trophies. I'm going to share it all. I'm going to share all of it, the good, the bad, the up, the down. I'm not going to fucking shirk from that shit, because if I don't, then how because I've been given this. You're saying the strong have been called. We've been called to share. And it's not share what's socially acceptable, or share what is okay and comfortable.
Make you uncomfortable.
The reality is, you're fucking dying. If you're listening to this, you're fucking dying. Why do you have a shitty marriage? Why do you have a shitty body? Why do you have a shitty bank account? Why would you accept anything other than fucking greatness, knowing you're literally dying? Your clock is ticking, and yet you're scared to talk about your wins because some fuckface on Facebook. You're scared to weaponize and sharpen your body and love the shit out of your person because you have fear and ego. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking dying. Literally. You're literally dying, and you're living in this place of scarcity and smallness. Worried about what? Because some asshole on Facebook doesn't like the fact that I post my Lamborghini? Fuck you. I'm going to post it 10 times more. Because deep down I know that I'm being called to share this shit. I'm being called to share my life, my reality, my love, my passion, my body, my struggles, all of these things. And I believe that wholeheartedly, wholeheartily. I guarantee you, there will never be a time in my life, on my deathbed, where I look back and go, man, I wish I hadn't posted that. I guarantee you, I already know, which is why I'm turning up the volume even more, which is why we're turning up the volume on All In and relationships and helping people. Because it's I'm not going the other way. I'm going the other way. I'm turning it up louder. I'm talking more. We're sharing more about our love and our connection and our relationship, because 51% of marriages are ending in divorce. That's fucking pathetic. That's ridiculous. That's terrible. In this day and age, in this world, why would you fucking do that? Why? I understand frustration and heartache. Well, if that's you, then smack yourself in the fucking face and wake up, because your call might come tomorrow that you're dying, that you got breast cancer, that you got fucking colon cancer, that you're fucking ready to die, and you're going to go, oh shit. Now what?
Yeah, and that's not even a death sentence. That's just a hey, pay attention.
No, but right? I want to read this, because you were talking about Jason, and I love this. I'd actually never seen this, guys. And if you don't know Jason,
I'm going to probably cry again.
You really should look him up, because this is a guy who was he was shot by Al Qaeda, shot behind his ear. It blew the front of his face off, blew his orbital, his nose. I mean, he's had 30 some odd surgeries on his face, blew his arm off. His arm was dangling down. They were going to cut his arm off. They were going to amputate it. His arm's totally fucked up. His face, you can tell he's had so many surgeries on his face. And here's this cat. And this is living. This is living. This is, friends, this is the mentality of Sean and Sax. Plain and simple. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. But we're not fucking stopping.
Right.
As God is my witness, I'm not slowing down, and I'm not stopping. And I don't give a shit if you don't like my car. I don't give a shit if you like my hot wife. I don't give a shit if you don't like me.
With the black hat.
Yeah. If you think that I shouldn't wear black boots and a black hat, or that I should keep my shirt on, or my pants are too low, or they're too high, or my shoes are too, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm playing this game online. I want to read this to you. This is Jason, who is a special forces guy.
We'll tag him.
He was in the hospital, right? He's in the hospital, and it was just fascinating hearing him tell the story, because he was everybody that was coming in was your arm's going to be gone and this and that. And he's it was so fucking morbid.
I'm oh, what a shame.
Everybody that came in had this guilt and this thing. And here he is with half of his face blown off, his arm hanging on by a thread, literally. And everybody just in this pity party and this thing. Now he wrote this, and this was taped on the door of his hospital room. And the really cool part of the story is a firefighter saw this and took a picture of it and posted it, and it went viral on social media. And now I think this hangs in the fallen soldier, or this exact thing hangs on in some museum for fallen soldiers. Anyways, it's really cool. And so let me read this to you really quick, because this is living, friends. This is fucking living. It says, attention, all who enter here, and Richie will throw a little bit in here on the video. You can see this. All who enter here, if you are coming into this room with sorrow or to feel sorry for my wounds, go elsewhere. The wounds I received, I got in a job that I love, doing it for people that I love, supporting the freedom of a country I deeply love. I am incredibly tough and will make a full recovery. What is full? ? Now, this is a guy, mind you, his face is blown off. Like, it's just, he's right. He wrote this. That is the absolute most physically, let me restart that over. That is absolute utmost physically my body has the ability to recover. Then I will push that about 20% further through sheer mental tenacity. This room you are about to enter is a room of fun, optimism, and intense rapid growth. If you are not prepared for that, go elsewhere. From the management.
Oh, I love it.
This is a guy who wrote this literally as he's dying, as like his face is blown off. And you stop and really think about this, friends. Like, I am constantly reminded in lessons from Jason, in calls from friends, in friends that have moved to the other side unexpectedly at a young age. I'm constantly reminded every single day why it is that we have the calling that we have, and we have the literal task from God to live the life that we do. And if this offends you, so be it. If this inspires you, so be it. But we talk about being all in. This isn't some made up, airy-fairy, glitzy, glimmery thing that we came up with some great marketing slogan. It is literally how Saxony and I are living our lives. Mm-hmm. We're all in. Do we know what's behind the next door in the next corner? No fucking idea. We have no idea. But we're going to kick that bitch open, and we're going to find out. And a lot of times it sucks. A lot of times it's hard. A lot of times it's frustrating. We went through frustration last week and had like 3 days where we were ready to gouge each other's eyes out. And then it's like, okay, lesson learned, move on, deepen the deal. But that's not supposed to happen, Sean. You guys are supposed to just be an airy-fairy, fruity-tooty land all the time. Get the fuck out of here. It's not how life works. Just like our friend is moving along, doing her thing, in great shape, blah, 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 bang, you got breast cancer. Okay, cool. What's next? Let's keep going. My ask of you guys is just simply this, to like truly, truly, truly understand that if you're listening to this right now, you won. You won the game of life. You're alive. You're here. Yeah, you're in pain. Yeah, you're frustrated. Yeah, you're set back. Yeah, you're broke. Yeah, you're depressed. Great. As Jocko says, good. Good. Now do something with it. Now fucking do something with it. Live. Like, I love Jason's letter. I screenshotted that. I have that on my phone for a reason, because it's like, I try and envision myself being in his space and saying, hey, if you're here for doom and gloom, get the fuck out. Don't even come in this room. And that's honestly how we're living our life. Like, if you're a negative person, if you're doom and gloom, if you want to shit on us for who we are, what we wear, what we do, what we drive, how we live, we just don't have any space for you in our life. There's really no place for you in our life. If, however, you want to go all in, if, however, you realize this lesson that, like, our clock is ticking, our time is coming, let's go. Let's fucking go. You sent me that post, or the thing. Remember from our last podcast, there was that little bit where it was like, we're inviting people to join us on this journey. Mm-hmm. I don't remember how I said it or whatever else, but like, that's, I want to echo that and like literally just invite you guys to join us on this fucking journey of life. Like, really understand and let that sink in in your heart and your soul. Look at your partner. You might want to you might not stand him. You might think he's the biggest douchebag and she's the biggest bitch. You might not be in a great place. Look at that person and realize, like, we're fucking doing it. We're alive. We're here. Yeah, you're shitty and you're shitty and you got past and you got a past and you've hurt me and you've wronged me and you've this and you've that. Now what? Now what? Like, literally, now what? Because I guarantee you, you get a phone call. You got 6 months. You're playing this game totally fucking different. Start playing that game now. Start playing that game right here, right now. And as the illustrious Tim McGraw says, live like you're dying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I believe that that's why people with the megaphones, people that are on the stages like Ed Milet, it's because he made a decision.
Yep.
Like I have the audacity to freaking live this life big.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so many more of those people out there. They just haven't turned the light on yet.
Yeah.
And maybe it's you. Maybe you're listening to this and you're like, you know, shit, is she talking to me? Like, we went to my family brunch yesterday, and my mom asked me an odd question. She's like, how does it feel to be doing what you're doing? And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, I don't know. And I know my mom, so I know what she's trying to say. It's like, you know, and I said, nothing is different other than I'm just doing me. And that, I think, it inspires people. Like, I am inspired by a lot of people that are doing them, they have the audacity to stand up and be seen and be heard and be happy. Like, God forbid, look how happy they are.
Yeah.
Look how they're thriving.
Yep.
I'm not jealous of that. I'm inspired by that. And I encourage everyone to say, hey, I want to thrive. I want to shine and be happy. And I want to be completely me. Like, that's when my life truly changed, when I decided that I was actually good with just being me. If I wanted to wear gold fringe and hot pink boots, that's what I'm gonna wear. Like,
she does. I promise you, she does.
Because I lived a totally different side.
Yeah.
You know, I lived a lot of my life in shame with an eating disorder and trying very hard to find normal. I remember I literally saying a prayer to God saying, I just want a normal life, God. That was my biggest prayer. I would cry and I'd say, I just want a normal life. I just want to be a normal mom. And God's like, sweetheart, that was never the plan.
He's like, I'm going to introduce you to this guy named Sean Whalen.
No, this was long before you. Sorry to
normal.
not give you the credit, but it's not yours. But it's like, I just
upped
wanted this normal life. And God's like, no, Saxony, you have this extra, this, which I call, it can either be excitement, energy, whatever, but you've got to stop torturing yourself with it. Turn around and put it in this direction. And it was, as soon as I took that same energy and put it towards good things and self-acceptance and self-love and zero fucks given and like living bright, then all of these things that were so rad started attracting into my life. And like you, there, I'll give you some credit there.
Bam.
But I truly believe that we all have signed up for a life path to do something great with it. I don't believe anybody's put on this earth to say, you just be good enough.
Yep. You
just conform enough. You just be obedient. Be quiet, be safe, be there. Don't take risks and then die. Please, that's as your God, that's what I want you to do with this beautiful, beautiful journey that you've chosen to be as this human. Oh gosh, just be this big. Yeah. I don't believe that our Creator's too spectacular, and we are spectacular, but we only us have the key to unlock that.
Yeah.
Just like Dorothy and her slippers, we must unlock that for ourselves, and it starts with self-belief.
I think what's special about what we're doing, and I know this for me, is that I've become aware enough to realize that I'm in this game like everybody else. And any one of you listening to us right now, like, a lot of times it takes that monumental one of those 5 events to wake somebody up. It takes someone dying, somebody close to you. It takes a spouse. It takes a divorce. It takes a bankruptcy. It takes a suicide. It takes a child. It takes something like that to wake us the fuck up. What would it look like if you just made that choice yourself? What would it look like if you just made that choice yourself instead of waiting for some cataclysmic event to shake you and wake you up? Mm-hmm. What would it look like? Because God's knocking. My favorite picture of the Savior is him standing at the door. And he's standing at a door, and guys, if you haven't seen it, Google it. It's really cool. Just Google Jesus standing at the door, and it's Christ standing at the door. And it's fascinating because he's just standing there looking at this door, but there's no doorknob on the door. The doorknob's on the other side. Like, he's just waiting for us to open the door. He's waiting for us to open the door. He's waiting for us to literally step into the space and say, all right, God, let's go. I'm in. But we play so small and so timid and so this. And it's just like the parable of the talents. I mean, the slothful servant was the servant who was given the talents, and he went and he buried him. It's like, oh, I don't want to lose them. I don't want to get made fun of. I don't want to whatever. Out of the servants that were given these talents, literally given money, One buried it and came back to the master and said, here, I didn't lose any of this. I just buried it. He was the slothful fucking servant, or the servant that went out and did shit and built and grew and doubled, tripled, quadrupled the money. Very, very literal, like a very literal picture for you guys to imagine. Very quite literally multiplied the talents. He was the freaking awarded one. He was given more. God gave him more. The master gave him more. We're no different. Our talents get multiplied as we use them, as we use our voice, as we use literally our talents, as our passion, our excitement. And this is why, like, I've proven this over the years, just through the growth of our tribe, the growth of our brand, the growth of social media. Almost every single post I put up for the last 8 years, people are like, oh, that's it. Nobody's going to follow you anymore. Like, that's the one. You said
too far.
You're too much. You went way over the cliff with that one. And yet here we are year after year after year after year. The tribe grows. The message expands. It goes further and further and further to more and more and more people. More and more people join. More and more people see. More and more people wake up. And that's without me needing the proof. That's the proof to me that I'm on the right track. Do I stumble? Do I fall? Hell yeah. Do I say dumb shit sometimes? Sure. Do I make the wrong decision sometimes? Sure. Have I lost money? Sure. Have I made bad decisions? Sure. Have I said dumb shit to you? All the time. Right?
Not all the time.
Lots.
That's a little absolute.
Lots. But the fact of the matter is, I'm in it and I'm going and I'm living. And I think that's really the call that, I wanted to just share today. And after this literal call from our friend is, guys, like, you don't wait for that cataclysmic event, man. Like, right here, right now, plant the flag, declare it. Like the way that Lions Not Sheep came to me, that literally became my mantra. It became my own mantra before I ever put it on a t-shirt, before I ever uttered it, before I ever put it on a Facebook post. It was literally my own mantra. Like, I'm going to start living like a lion, not a sheep. I'm going to start doing things my way, saying shit that I wanted to say, being who I wanted to be, doing what I wanted to do. And you get into that, like you said, you accept that, and you realize, like, I might wear pink boots and freaking a purple shirt and whatever. Dope, I'm all in. It's the same philosophy. It's the same reality. And I can tell you that I've never been happier. I know that we've never been more connected. We've never been happier, deeper, further along than we are in playing this way, in living this way.
The quality of the people in our lives.
Oh my gosh!
I sometimes I pinch myself. I look around and I'm like, I have the most
people.
incredible, and I'm like, the most incredible people.
Yeah.
I call friends.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? And it happened because your vibe attracts your tribe. No, but truly, I'm like, wow, what an honor to have, like, some. I tell the story about even just sitting on the stage with Jordan Peterson. I'm sitting there and I'm like, how did I end up in this moment?
Yeah.
And it was a rhetorical how, because I know exactly how, because I'll give myself the credit for those moments of like, holy shit, okay, where those little tiny compounding moments that led me to where I'm sitting across from one of the people that I look up to because of his audacity, because of his unwillingness to back down and not speak his truth and stand for what he believes in and put his neck on the line and all these things. And on top of that, he's an incredible fucking person.
Yeah.
He has an incredible mind, an incredible heart. And I was like, wow, I'm in this moment. And it's like, wait, I can keep doing, these moments can keep happening. But it's like, don't get too, it's too high, I'm too high. No, like,
tone it down.
Just realize, like, no,
scale it back.
Just, Icarus doesn't apply to this story. Right. But it's like, wow, like, and you realize it, and I fully believe we all have that. It's just, God's saying, will you believe in yourself? Will you really live?
Yeah.
Will you really, like, because before we came here, we had a conversation. This was going to be the plan. And of course, then there's the veil, and you forget it all, and you get to relearn it all. But it's like, remember why you're here. Remember the gift of your humanness. And it's like, there's no perfection here. This is a classroom. This is an experiential journey we're on. I truly believe is a gift from God. Like, hey, you get to go be a human and have this experience. And when you do fall and you do scratch your knee and you do have an X and you do this or whatever, it's like, God, I'm a human and I get to grow. And then when you start to love and accept that in yourself, you start to love and accept that in other people.
Right.
And then you don't become a troll on the internet. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. It really is interesting how that works, friends. Like I've said this before, and I will say it again. Like, you know, I have the insane fortune and good luck and audacity and blessing to be able to drive a supercar every day. And just that one aspect of the dynamic of my life, right? It's still mind-bending to me. But I've never had a single person ever tell me to tone it down, tell me to quiet down, tell me to slow down, tell me to sell it, tell me to get rid of it, who actually has one, because they know what it took to get there. They know what it took. And I take my shirt off and I show my six-pack online, and I show my sexy wife's freaking body all the time when we're on the beach and she's got a skimpy bikini on and I got my shirt off, and I'm proud as fuck of who we are and what we've built. And not one fitness person who's in shape has ever talked shit.
Yeah.
They won't. And I can tell you, like, people that are in the space living, that are truly building beautiful marriages, deeply rooted marriages, they're never going to mock you. They're never going to talk shit. So just know, as you're on your journey, as you're going all in, as you're doing this, the simplest way, like when we talk about the people that are in our life today, holy shit, like we didn't do a whole lot of like blocking and deleting and Xing and removing. We just literally raised our shit up. We raised our vibration. We made changes to ourselves to better ourselves, to grow ourselves, to go even more all in. And this group of people went this way, and then a whole new group of people and these experiences showed up. And the truth of the matter is, like, as you're on your journey, I promise you, the people that are living all in, they will cheer for you. They will cheer you along the way. They will be the biggest champions and the biggest cheerleaders that you have. So just remember that, because the flip side of that is that the vast majority of people won't go down that path. They won't stretch themselves. They won't go all in. They will live superficial lives. They will hate on you from afar. They will hate on you close. And there's two options that you've got. Like, which way do you want to go? And I can tell you, like, if you look at the apostles of old and you look at, you know, a lot of the great stories of biblical times, like Jesus was a nomad. He was a loner. He was a freak. He didn't have throngs and throngs and throngs of people following him around. He barely had 12 dudes following him around. And most of those dudes turned out to be assholes anyways. Like, really think about that. Most of the people that were closest to Jesus ended up selling him out. He didn't have very many people around him. He didn't have very many dudes around him at the end. Even during his day, like, most people thought he was weird and obscure and odd. Like, really think about that. We talk about, we want to be like Jesus and we want to live these whatever. And the truth of the matter is, like, he didn't have a whole lot of people there. But what did he do? He kept going, and he kept preaching, and he kept preaching, and he kept talking, and he kept loving, and he kept healing, and he kept doing his thing. And that's, I truly believe that's the invitation that we have, is to keep going and to go further and further all in. You go all in, and then all of a sudden there's another door, and then another door, and then it doesn't end. It never ends. I don't think it will ever fucking end. So. And it's an invitation for you and for me and for us together and individually to keep going down that path. And maybe it takes somebody getting sick to wake you up. Maybe it takes one of these 5 cataclysmic events. But what would it look like if right here, right now, you just fucking said, I'm all right, I'm all in. I'm all in. Fuck it. I'm sending it. I've listened to Sean and Sax say this so many goddamn times. I'm going to fucking try this shit out. Maybe you do that, maybe you don't. I don't know. But I will tell you that the clock is fucking ticking, man. The clock is ticking. And we're running out of time. You're running out of time. I'm running out of time. And I haven't found the reverse clock yet on kids and how to slow it down and how to make them shrink down versus grow up. I'll be damned if I live another second of my life like trying to appease other people, trying to play small. God didn't put me here to play small, man. God did not put me or you or anybody listening to this here to play small. God did not put you on this podcast in this singular moment of time, my friends, to play small. So, amen.
Yep.
Anything else, babe?
No, I just kind of started daydreaming. I was like, I wonder if people actually know what they want. Like, what motivates you? Like, I don't want a Lamborghini. I don't even actually like riding in the Lamborghini. Like, so that's where I was like, what am I motivated by? Oh, I'm motivated by freedom and play. That's me. Like, yeah, I want to build a life where I just get to play. Yeah. And meaning, like, I get to be with my kids. I get to be with my husband. I get to go do this. It's like, that's what I want in life. I want freedom, and I want play, and I want fun. That's what motivates me to do work hard. Because of course it just doesn't come out of thin air. But you know, like, I don't post a Lamborghini. I don't have any desire to have one. I mean, I love that you love it, but we're all motivated by different things, you know? But I'm glad you love it.
Yeah, Sax like has never driven it. Have you ever driven it?
I don't know.
I don't think Sax has ever even driven it. She doesn't really care.
I don't like sports cars. I just like a comfortable ride that...
You got to admit, though, every now and again when you're driving to that and the kids filming on the freeway are like, yeah, that's cool.
I love the joy that it brings other people that love it.
Me too.
And that's connected right back to what motivates me, and it's fun and play. And
I drive it like a bat out of hell, and Sax hates it. Every time we go on date night, slow down, slow down. She tries to do her makeup in the fucking car, and it is impossible.
Okay, you guys, just for a record, the mirror in the Lamborghini, I'm not joking. It's about as big as a Bic lighter. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to display here with my fingers if you're listening. That's how big, like, you're not supposed to ever do your makeup. The visor in a Lamborghini is like this big. Like, oh, here, let me like...
This ain't luxury, homegirl. This is exotic.
But it's so funny to me. Is I'm like, you can't even keep the sun out. You have to you have to wear your cool glasses in your cool car.
Of course.
Of course.
Every pound of stupid visor and the size of the mirror, Mr. Lamborghini, when he was building it, he's like, look, lady, get your makeup done at home because then we get in the car. We don't need to have these freaking fancy pants. That's what your Range Rover's got. That's what all these other bougie cars have. They have big mirrors. Not a Lamborghini. Do that shit at home. You know what I'm saying?
But it is really adorable when you see all these little boys. There's something in a little boy's DNA. Was when he drives by, they're like, yes! Yeah. Yes, like my match car just got huge. Yeah, it's so freaking adorable. That I love.
Driving through the neighborhood and the kids are yelling. Oh my gosh, they come running out of their driveway. It's the coolest thing ever, man.
It is cute. I love it.
Anyways, all in, all in, all in. Go all in. All right. Anything else, babe?
No, I think that was fantastic.
Amen. All right, guys, we love you. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, share it. We would love for you to share it. Leave us a comment, leave us a review on iTunes if you wouldn't mind, and make sure you share this.
Go check out Jason.
Yeah, he's badass. We'll put his social media links in here too. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.